like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, helps support the cause. I get everyone involved. I feel like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, helps support the cause.
I like the new intro.
Good morning. Good morning. I know on the second day of the Nudelberg Daily Huddle with the new intro, you get two new hosts. You get me, Jake Nudelberg. If you don't know me, I'm the Director of Success at On the Ball, and I'm joined by Lori Salarillo, who is obviously the CEO of Junior Achievement. And as always, Shay is in the bottom corner running the show and will be in the background, hopefully providing us with some entertainment, some content that we're going to go through today. Good morning, Lori. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I am doing really well. What was your weekend like?
You know what? My weekend was like probably boring to most people.
Boring.
Literally did nothing. Just vegged. Slept till 10 o'clock on Saturday, which I've not done in a long time.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Did you work on the book at all?
I did.
Good. I was hoping you were going to
Saturday, and then for about 3 hours on Sunday.
That's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Lori is writing a book. I do not know when that is supposed to be due, but I know we are all very
yesterday. Supposed to be due yesterday.
Yeah,
Shay, be quiet.
Look, good work takes time, I think, is an easy way to say it.
And I'm a perfectionist. I can't put it out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I can't put it out until I know it really reflects my stories accurately and the point.
I think that's a really good segue to start with your post, though, that you're a perfectionist. I know you put up a post, and for those of you who do not know, I have run a training business, a personal training business on the side of my On the Ball Director of Success job, and Lori was one of my first clients, and we have just reached just over the year mark. I think May was the first year. And so can you talk a little bit about what the post says, your kind of philosophy behind it before we get to wake up music and start the day?
Yeah. So usually I do try to do it like a perfectionist, right? Because that's the way I go into everything, especially for work. But when it comes to personal, it's so interesting. I think sometimes we don't put that same commitment or stick to our commitment when it's personal because everything else comes first. And so I think this time I just have a totally different approach. And I think it's because, first of all, going into it, my goal was not to lose a certain number of pounds, right? You and I talk. My goal was to get strong because I couldn't squat and get up without holding on. And I saw my 80-year-old mother who couldn't get out of a chair. And I said, oh, shit, I better start doing something and get back to working out because I always did. And so it really was just starting slowly, right? We started with 2 days a week. I wasn't doing any other cardio, I don't think, at the beginning, right? I started cutting back on calories. Little by little, we kept phasing in more and more things. And in the end, I just want to say, right, we focus on the scale, we focus on the KPI. Yeah. It's like in leadership. Don't focus on the KPI, focus on the people in the process, right? And so that's what we've done. And it's been a year. I think I'm down now about 11 pounds as of this weekend. But it's not about the pounds. My whole body has changed.
I think it's about sustainable behaviors, and whether that goes for leadership, sales, whatever your role is, fitness, your relationships, it doesn't matter. You need to find sustainable behaviors, things that you are going to add to your life and not do it for 60 days. Or, the very popular one is the 75 hard, which I see everybody go, I couldn't do it. And I was like, yeah, why the hell would you start with 75 hard if you've never done 30 easy? Right. Why is that the jump to that? And everybody wants to make these drastic changes. And we're going to talk about it on Thursday, but Roger Federer had an amazing speech. If you need a pep talk, it's a great speech to go do, but I'd already written a great show. But I am proud of you. I just started with also a 76-year-old this morning who is an absolute beast, plays tennis twice a week. It is really cool because I am surrounded by the older generation, and I think is the proper way to say it, but it is cool to see mature generation, however the right term is, but it is motivating.
Veterans.
better.
Look, it's motivating for me. We spent this weekend with my grandpa, who's obviously has, health has kind of dwindled a little bit. And so it's just fascinating to see you guys take the initiative to care, because it is our bodies. And the one thing we're never getting back is time. And we are going to talk about that today. But we do have to talk about one more thing before we get to Wake Up Music. The Florida Panthers are 2 games away from the Stanley Cup, which I saw a tweet and they said we are 2 games away from having a parade at a outlet mall, which was really funny. So I don't know where they're going to do the parade. I hope it would
Colonnades, I guess.
listen, I don't know. And if you're from down here, Sawgrass,
Right.
Amerant Arena. It was absolutely rocking. Super proud of them. They head off to Canada Thursday. They have a very far flight to go. So congratulations to them. If you're a fan, enjoy the ride. And glad that we have this team. But as always, as we do on this show, we start with Wake Up Music. So Shay, let's wake us up.
Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up. Come on, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe this and this what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more doctor thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on.
The music is good on this show. As we always do on this show, we start it with a daily affirmation. And if you're not signed up to our newsletter, you didn't see, but we added something new to our Sunday pregame prep. We have an affirmation of the week now. We have a noodle nugget. So it's an action-packed email. So if you're not signed up, Shay will drop the link, sign up, make sure you're getting our content to stay on the ball. But Shay, can you put up the affirmation today? And Lori, can you do the honors?
Sure.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me get, I don't know where the hell it went.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Sorry.
Look, can we have a
I
countdown?
usually have it up on
It's a
my
live
phone.
show. And this is your first time joining us, we do sometimes run into some technical difficulties. I don't know if we have it. I can easily
Oh,
read
but
it.
I think I got it.
Yeah. So
I
Shay,
got
Always in the right place and right time, because this is the only place and the only time. Is that the one?
yes, that is the one. I think everybody doesn't live in the present, and we're so fast to move on. There it is. So you can read it. I am always in the right place and right time, because this is the only place and the only time. I think we're always looking forward to the next game, the next meeting, the next day, the next trip, and we lose track of the time present, and there is no better time than the present to live there, to dominate the present, to understand the people that are around you, to listen. I think active listening is going completely out of the window in today's generation. There's so many distractions on our phone. I think the average phone time is now 10 hours or some crazy amount like that. So the more we can be present, the more we can take in what's around us and appreciate the seconds that are ticking by. I think it's important and a great affirmation to remind us. But today we're going to talk about a really cool article I found, the top 5 regrets people have when they die. And this comes from an ex-hospice care worker, which, listen, that might be as close as you get to God's work, is working in hospice your entire life. And I'm not surprised it's an ex, because I'm not sure you can do that for your whole life. But they're really interesting. There's 5 of them. I'm going to read them, and then we're kind of going to dive into each of them. And I think a couple of them kind of play on each other, and it's a unique perspective on some of them. But the first one is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me.
I think this is so true for a lot of people. And I think especially for younger people, I have to say though, as I've aged, I can only speak for me, but as I've aged, I am living my life, right, much more than I did when I was younger. Right now, you get older, I think, and wiser and more mature, and you just, you're like, screw it. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm not gonna care about so much about what anybody else thinks.
Where did that come from? Was that a parents thing? Was that a societal thing of, you're saying as I got older, I started living more true to myself? Like, where does that pressure come from? I have my opinion, but.
I think it's a combination of things. I think for me it was, right? I grew up in a family, 2 parents who were educated, went to college, had master's degrees, right? I didn't really love college, right? But I went because that's what my parents expected me to do. So I just think it's a lot of things. I think it's our peers, right? When we're younger, that we want to be accepted and we don't want to be rejected. So we do what we think that we should do there. I think it's in relationships. When I was younger, that I thought I had to be in this kind of relationship with this kind of person. I think it's all of those things: peers, societal, parents, all of it.
There are so many social norms that are being broken, especially in the last 5-10 years, and I remember being in college, and I was a senior at the time, and I was living with a couple of juniors. So they were really starting to figure out what they wanted to do. Not that I had any clue of what I wanted to do. But good morning, Benjamin. And I remember him saying to me, because he wanted to be a dentist. Dad was a dentist. And he was like, well, I have to go to dental school. And I go, no, you don't. And he was like, what do you mean? No, I don't. I go, you don't have to go to dental school. And he was like, well, that's not really an option. My dad wants me to work in the practice and do this, and this. And I looked at him and I go down that route. But I was like, do you even like dentistry? Like, do you even have a passion? He was like, no. Long story short, we kind of lose track of him. And he goes to dental school, drops out in a semester, gets out, has and his dad was like, yeah, okay, I still love you. And so I don't know if it's, and look, you obviously have that parent perspective where I don't have any kids. Would I say that there was pressure to join the family business? No, there was pressure to operate a certain way, maybe get to a level of success, maybe that, but I think there are things in your life where you have to finally look at everybody and everything and start to push back. Like, I remember the time I did that with people where I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. It's not what I want my life to be. And the quicker you become comfortable with that skill or that feeling, and it's a muscle, you have to build that muscle. And so go for it.
The one thing I didn't mention, right? You mentioned all external factors. Mm-hmm. I think there's an internal piece of this as well. I think some of it is self-imposed, mm-hmm. right? Maybe some of it is even who we are, yep. right? I look at my daughter, right? And I don't think, and it would be interesting conversation to have with her, that I ever said to her, I expect you to be this.
Right.
Right. But she thought she had to please us.
Right.
Right. So was that from us? Was it from my parents?
Correct.
Probably not. I can tell you, I don't remember them ever telling me, you have to be this and I expect you to be this. I never had that, and neither did she. So some of it, I think, is our personalities, and maybe when we are these driven type A personalities, we impose some of this on ourselves.
Yeah. I think it's impractical to say that the environment doesn't play a role,
But
the way the world's going is there's so many examples, and now we get to see them on social media, of living different lives and living true lives, and how fulfilling that can be, and how psychologically, healthy that is for people. And so it is cool to see people kind of flex that muscle. And I do understand that the previous generations probably were caught more in a system that was so societally normal and didn't see any alternative way of living. And so they lived their life that way. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard.
That's the one I thought would actually be number 1.
Yeah.
That would be mine probably. But at the same time, I love what I do. Mm. So yes, I work hard. Yes, I work a lot, but I love what I do. So
I think it piggybacks off one, right? When you talk about live a life true to yourself, work shouldn't be draining. It should be taxing. It shouldn't be draining. Taxing is normal, and your body's going to get tired and you're going to have to take breaks, but it shouldn't drain you of all energy every single day. And you shouldn't wake up going, oh my God, I got to go to work. I got to do this. The activities that you're doing at your job should not be the opposite of what fulfills you and drives you. And so you look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs, and I think that's what we talk about with an entrepreneurial spirit. Spirit is taking ownership of the activities and being fulfilled by them and wanting to wake up with this motivation and discipline to go at it. Like, it's hard for me to say you're going to be very super successful over a very long time if you're not into it. If you're not living a job that is true to yourself, like, eventually you're going to give up and get out. And so I think that piggybacks off people weren't doing a good enough job back then, or didn't have the opportunities or the awareness in order to get into fields that really did fulfill them. And so they didn't work at things that were their life's dreams or their true passions. And therefore they go, I work so hard at things that I didn't really care about. And at the end of the day, money isn't a driver forever. You know, I think you and me have this conversation all the time during our workouts. Like, money can't be the driver forever. Eventually it goes out, you know, and the wealthiest even will tell you that, I think. So it just piggybacks off that. And it's really interesting that that's number 2. Number 3.
By the way, that just speaks to balance, right?
Yeah.
You're going to work a lot. That's the majority of our time is working. Okay.
Yeah. Things
But
cost money.
it's just making sure you didn't neglect everything else.
Yeah, that's
Right.
really good. That's a good word. Neglect the things, you know, and I know Mark will talk about that nauseating of balancing being a husband, being a father, being an entrepreneur. And you can have everything in life, or you can do anything. You can't have everything. You have to give up something in order to get something else. And it's all a give and take. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings.
I don't have any problem with that.
No, I'm maybe too honest. Maybe too honest. I think all of our hosts here, we're hosting a podcast. So like, I don't know that any of us really struggle at that, but it goes back to living that truth. That's why I thought number 1 was so overencompassing of everything else. Is I don't know that it was okay to express your feelings. And your generation, and even Mark's, like, you know, you talk about mental health and all these movements to people being aware of our words to people and our actions. And I don't know that that's what the world used to be. And I don't know, people will call it soft. You know, like a lot of people use the world is soft now, you know, and I'm
from New York. There's never been a time in my life where I didn't express my, my opinion. So I can't.
Look, don't keep it bottled in. And I'm going to get through these a little bit quicker. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Look,
you do what you can with the time that you have. I mean,
look, you talk about
that would be on my deathbed.
Look, it's hard when you're living on your deathbed because you think of every thought, you know, or I'm assuming I've never been on my deathbed, knock on wood, but I think you think about everything and the things that you could have done. And it's easy to say on your deathbed, I wish I would have traveled the world every day of my life. You know, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. That's an impractical way to live. And it's a negative energy way to live. And things that are in the past, you have to kind of take them as lessons as they come. And at the end of the day, be like, I did the best I could. You know, I think if you get there and you look around at everybody that is around you and you say, I did the best that I could, you know, it's hard for anybody to argue with that statement because we're all humans and we all try our best. Last one, I wish that I had let myself be happier.
You know, I don't know. This is a tough one, I think. How do you define happy? I mean, for everybody, right? For each person, it's different.
What would you define as happiness? Putting that on. Yeah.
I think it's for me, it's about having the people that I love in my life, right? That bring me joy and bring me happiness and make me laugh and make me cry and make me write all those things. I think it's about enjoying what I do every day, right? That makes me feel very happy and fulfilled and making a difference because in my job, we get to make a difference. I think it makes me happy to be a good person, right? I make me happy. If I treat people in a way that is not true to me, I feel that and I don't feel happy about it, right? So for me, those are just 3 things off the top of my head.
Yeah, look, I'm going to call those Lori's rules to life, which I don't know that many of those were C words,
No, they were not. Well, I didn't put them in C words, but they're in the book in C words.
No, of course. And it's just interesting. There's a different definition of happiness and everybody will judge it differently. Like you said, it's amazing to me that people don't believe that they deserve happiness, you know? And we talked about it on the affirmation. Was it the last time I was on the huddle? I think the last time I was on the huddle with Mark, we talked about that, but, you know, accepting that you are allowed to be happy, you know, and have an abundance of happy. And it doesn't need to be struggles, and it doesn't need to be constant battles with everybody, and removing those obstacles that create those are important to a sustained life. And I know I just read an article. I'm happy you started with the ones you love and the friends and family and all that. They are going to start asking in your regular checkup about like social isolation and about how much interaction you're having with other people. How much are you getting out with other people? Because it is now becoming a main source of killer for people and aging. And it's up there with stress as how bad it is for your body and your natural health. So we're always talking about it's a relationship game. We talk about it in a sales vein, obviously, but the more relationships and the more you give, the more you normally get in return.
I also think there's two other things that I didn't mention, and that's acceptance and forgiveness. I think, right, the more if you can't accept, right, there are things we can't control. We talk about this all the time, control the controllables. There are things we can't control. We can stress and make ourselves miserable and sick about them, or we can learn to accept, right, that it is what it is and we can't fix it or change it. And I think the other one is forgiveness. I think when you harbor revenge and hate and anger, it's hard to be truly happy. And so I think those two things, we have to mention those two things in this. So
amen. Amen, Lori. I want to finish with motivational music. It was a great show. So Shay, let the thing play, and then we'll end it after the motivational music. But as always, Lori, it was so good. They gave me the driver's seat. I believe I'm going to be hosting every Tuesday and Thursday now. So now you get 2 days of me, not just sports content. Going to be bringing you some modern, you know, generation, or it would. So if you're the mature, am I the immature generation? I don't like that.
No,
I don't like.
no.
Right, I don't know. We'll figure that word out.
Experienced? Are you the inexperienced? No,
I don't know. I don't like that one either. See, right?
No.
It's not good. So we'll think about that. As always, thank you guys for joining us. Shay, play the motivational music. Let it ride, and then we'll end the show. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
He said I was finally the husband that most of the time I wasn't, and I became a friend would like to have. And all of a sudden going fishing wasn't such an imposition. And I went 3 times that year, I lost my dad. Well, I finally read the good book, and I took a good long hard look at what I'd do if I could do it all again. And then I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. And I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live life